Good morning or afternoon or whatever time it happens to be, wherever you are. Somebody on one of the forums was talking about seventh chords and inversions, and I've been meaning to make this one, so I figured I might as well do it now. So let's just review some vocabulary before we head off here. And so seventh chords are just extensions of your regular harmonies. So you have a 1 chord, you have a 2 chord, you have a 3 chord, you have a 4 chord, you have a 5 chord, you have a 6 chord, you have a 7 diminished chord, and then you have a back to your 1 chord. All right. And the reason why we call them seventh chords is because we have our root, our third, our fifth. If I'm going to stack another third on top, it becomes the seventh. Okay, so I'm going to put a seventh on top. So this is a 1 chord. Now this is a 1, 7. And it is a major 7 because it has a major chord with a major 7th. And the way you determine that it's a major 7th is if it's a diatonic 7th. Okay, so that means in the key of C, all right, I have a C and I go up 7 notes. My note is going to be B, natural, okay, not B flat. So it's a major 7 chord. So let's change our nomenclature here. So we could call it a 1, 7. Okay. And if you really wanted to be, what do you call it? If we wanted to go do the chord symbols, I would call this a C major 7. Okay. Not a C7, that's something else. All right, so let's look at our second chord here. All right, well, I have a D2 chord. All right, and so I'm going to go up. D is my root, F is my third, A is my fifth. I'm going to go up a third from A. It is a C. Okay, and this is called a minor 7th because, let me get my little tool here. This is called a minor 7th because it is a minor triad with a minor 7th. Okay? And the reason why it's a minor 7th, let's think in the key of D. What is the 7th note? The 7th note should be C sharp, but it's not. It's a lowered 7th. So it's a minor chord with a lowered 7th at the top. Okay, now this is still diatonic in the key of C. So another way to think about it is that your 2 chord in the key of C, if you're working in the key of C, you're not altering anything, is going to be a minor 7th. So your 2 is a minor 7th, and our chord symbol for that would be D minor 7. Oops, sorry. D. There we go. D minor 7. And let's see if I can play those. There you go. All right. So, same procedure here with the 3 chord. So I have a minor 3. I'm going to add a 7th scale degree. That's 7 notes away from the root. Okay. Okay. And it's another minor 7th. So I have a minor chord. Okay. Diatonically, it's going to be a D natural because I'm in the key of C. That'll always be a minor chord. Another way to think about it is think in the key of E. What is the 7th scale degree? The 7th scale degree should be D sharp. Okay? But it's a D. So we know we would say it's an E with a lowered 7th. Okay? So there's 2 ways to think about it. You think of it, is this in the key? Okay? That solves part of your problem. Or if you're seeing this in isolation somewhere, and you need to figure it out. Is it 7 away, diatonically 7 away from the major? Or is it lowered? Another way to think about it is it a whole step or a half step away from the root? Okay. So there's a couple ways to think about it. So let's label these. So I'm going to go put my little label here. Come on. I'll stop that. There we go. I'll put my 7, and I'll put my chord symbol up here. Okay. Oh, stop that. And I'll put my chord symbol up here. It's going to be E minor 7. Okay. Now I have a 4 chord, okay, which is major. I'm going to add a 7th scale degree. I go up F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay. It's a diatonic 7th away. It's a major 4, so it's a 4/7. Okay, and when you're using Roman numerals, it's just kind of understood that this is going to be just a major 7th. Because the 4 chord has a major 7th. You know, your composers, when they would write their inversions and whatnot, when they're saying the 7th, they're saying diatonic 7th away from the root. Okay. If it was E flat, it would be a dominant 7th, but we're not there yet because if we're using Roman numerals, this is the only one that can exist. If you wanted to make it a dominant, so you'd have to write 4 flat 7. Okay. And the chord symbol for that would be F major 7. All right. Now we get to our special chord here, which is the 5. Okay. And it's special because diatonically it's the only one, well, other than the 4/7 chord, it gets a tritone between the 3rd and the 7th. So you have a B and an F that makes a tritone. And in theory, when you're introduced to this, this is called a major minor 7th, because it's a major chord with a minor 7th. Why is it a minor 7th? Because in the key of G, the 7th scale degree should be F sharp. But we're not in the key of G, we are in the key of C, and it is a lowered 7th. So that's why it's called a major chord with a minor 7th. Okay? It's also called, the way around that is also called the dominant chord. When you say dominant 7th, you mean major minor. Okay? Just about anybody and everybody knows that. It's just the way we talk. It's just the vocabulary, the jive of music. Okay, so we have a major chord with a minor 7th, and the way we're going to write that here is 7, and the chord symbol is changed. Okay, we just call it a G7. Okay, and when we say G7, it's implied that there's a major 7 and a a major chord with a minor 7th. So that's what that means. When you see the chord, anything that says, if it says B7, okay, it would be a B major chord with an A on top, with a minor 7th. All right, let's finish this off. Let's go to the 6th chord, which is minor, and it has another minor 7th on top. Because it's not, if it was major, it would be G sharp, but it's not. It's G major. You also know it's G natural because it's diatonic in the key of C. Way to check your work. Okay, and we would just put a 7 on top, and the key, the chord symbol would be A minor 7. All right, now we get to our very special 7 chord, right? Which is already diminished, okay? And so I have a B, D, F, and I'm going to add an A on top. So it's a diminished chord with a minor 7th, okay? And that is what we call a 7. Which symbol is it now? Is it this one? No. Anyway, if there's a symbol on the Mac that shows you how to put a, well, that's kind of close. That's not it. No. Anyway, you would need to have a slash through it, so I'm just going to put a 0 there. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? There we go. There we go. Put the use the Norwegian O. Okay, 7. Okay, and it's a half diminished 7. Oh, let's fix this one on top. Okay, because it's a diminished chord. All right, with a minor 7th. Okay, so the bottom triad is diminished. I'm supposing you already know how to figure that out. With a minor 7th. How do I know it's a minor 7th? Okay, I think in the key of B. What is the 7th scale degree? It should be A sharp. Okay, but it's not. It's an A, so it's a flat 7th. Okay, another way to think about it is the A is a whole step away from the root. All right, that makes it a minor 7th. If I want a fully diminished 7th, which is a borrowed flavor, it doesn't exist in the diatonic key. It would be A flat. All right, which is a really cool sound. Lots of tension there. And then I make myself back to 1. Oops. Let's see if I can get this guy to stack. There we go. Okay, with a 1-7. Oh, and then let's look at go back here for a second, and the way. Okay, this one, the seventh chord has a couple of ways of being notated. You could say B half diminished 7th. Okay, I know you don't know what that is. Okay, you could do that. All right, half diminished 7th. That's the shorthand. The way that you see it a lot, especially in jazz, would be B minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so you have a B minor chord with a minor 7th, and then they lower the 5th degree. That makes it diminished. So you can see that B minor 7 flat 5, or a B with a 0/7 as your chord. And of course, Finale doesn't like that. Or you could see B dim 7. I think that's the one that it likes. And then we come back to 1, which is a C7. Oops, sorry, C major 7. And the Roman numeral for that is come on. No. Oh, wrong tool. Here we go. This one is just 1-7. All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about inversions. Okay. All of these are in root positions. Okay. That means the root note, the chord quality, the chord note as the lowest note is the root. So whether I write it like this, I'm going to do some 4-part voicings here. Whether I write it like that, whether I write it like this, C, G, B. I need an E. Okay, whether I write it like that, whether I write it like this. Okay, those are all root position. Okay, because the lowest note is in the bottom. All right, now your figured bass player. Okay, when you know Bach and Telemann and all those people were playing, their right hand knew what to do when they would see that. They would see these as blanc 7. Okay, it's a major 7 chord. All right, and they know the left hand, which is usually played by the viola da gamba or cello or whatever, is taking care of the left hand. The right hand would be the 3rd, the 7th, sometimes the root, and they'd be improvising over it. Okay, so it's also always a root position chord. Okay, when the root is in the bottom. All right. Okay, we're going to look at first inversion chords. So first inversion is when the 3rd of the note is in the bottom. Same rule. There's just a slight change of nomenclature, and this is where it's good to be able to count. Okay, so I'm just going to go in here and add the 7th. So I have an E. Still have a C chord, but it's in first inversion, and I'm going to do that. It's a really terrible voicing when you close it like that because it's kind of dissonant. And, ugh. Anyway, all right. So this would be a 1, and then I'm going to count. Okay, so I'm going to go 1. So my root is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 1, 6, 5. Okay, and the 6 tells me there's a 6th above the E, a diatonic 6, and there's a 5 above that, and that lets me know that it's a 7 chord. And if I really wanted to, I could do 6, 5, 3. 6, 5, 3. The 3 is implied. Okay, and it's also one of those things you learn in arranging. If you are running out of space or you want to throw a note out because it's just not fitting, throw out the 5th. You don't need it. Okay, and the chord symbol for this would be C major 7 / E. So it's a C major 7 chord over E. All right. Let's go to this 2 chord. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to cram in a 7. And we're going to call him a 2, 6, 5. Because I have a 6th above a root and I have a 5th above the root. And his chord symbol, and this is why these are all going to be slashes for now on. It's going to be D minor 7 over F. Okay. I wonder if I can get my music spacing to fix that. Anyway, you get the point. All right, let's continue this. We're going to add a 7th to this E minor. So it's an E minor 7th with the 3rd in the root. So I want to put the D, just cram the D in there. There we go. Okay. And his chord symbol is going to be 3, 6, 5 with a chord symbol of E minor 7 over G. Okay. Now you also got, let's go to the 4 chord. Okay, it's a major 7th. The quality does not change, even though there's inversions. The quality is still the same. Okay, they look funny, but they are still the same quality of chord. All right. Okay, so this would be a 4, 6, 5 with a So it'd be F major 7 over A. And I'm sorry my thing's getting all busted up there, but I'm not going to mess with the spacing right now because it's really not important for this topic. Anyway, moving on. So I have a G7 chord, so I'm going to throw the 7 in there. Okay. So he is a G. He's a 5, 6, 5. And his chord symbol is going to be just a little bit different because remember he's dominant. So it's a G7 over B. All right. Let's do this A minor 7. Cram the 7 in there. Okay. Your Roman numeral analysis would be 6, 6, 5 with a chord symbol that is A minor 7 over C. All right. And then we have our really groovy diminished 7th chord. So I'm going to cram the minor 7th in there. And he gets a chord symbol too. So he is and I'm going to use my made up symbol for half diminished 6, 5. Or, this is where it gets a little more interesting. What did I use? So you could use B. You could say B diminished 7 over D. Okay, that's one you see. Or you could see B minor 7 flat 5 over D. Okay, either of those is acceptable, and I'm going to click out of here, and it's going to tell me, no, I don't want to do that, but it won't let me do it. Okay, so fine. B diminished 7 over D. All right, or you could do with the symbol over with the slash symbol over D, but Finale's not going to let me do it. And then we're back to our Garden Variety 1 chord, which is, there we go. Okay, and we would just call him, again, this is still a 1, 6, 5 with the chord symbol that we had over here, which would be C major 7 over E. Okay, now again, the same rules apply. How many, the inversion is the lowest note in the thing. So no matter how I voice it, okay, I could voice it like this. I could voice it like this. I could voice it like this. Okay. Or up 10 octaves or whatever. It's still, you only look at the lowest note, and these are all still first inversion. This is first inversion. These are root position. So if you notice here, these are all root position because the C is in the bottom. I'm just using a 1 chord. Okay, I'm using the same 1 chord here, but these are all the same chord. Okay, let your piano player, your figured bass player, mess with it and let them figure it out how to do it. Okay, second inversion. So I'm going to cram the 7th on here. So I have the G. I have a G. I have a C and an E, and I'm going to add a. There we go. Add my 7th. Okay. So here we go. Now for our. Come on. Where's my little. There we go. it's going to be a 1, and then we're going to count the intervals. So I have a 1, so 1, 2, I have a 3, I have a 4, 5, 6. So it could be 6, 4, 3. Okay. Okay. The 3 tells me there's a major 7th. The 4 tells me what the root of the chord should be. And the 6 tells me what the third of the chord should be. Okay. Usually with just that information, with the 4 and the 3, you don't need the 6. So a lot of times it's just marked 4, 3. Because remember, people improvising with either Roman numerals or just chord inversions, they just knew. All right. They don't need to write everything out, which is why keyboard is a lot of the times is a great improvising instrument. Anyway, I digress. Moving on. So this would be so it's still a C major 7, but I'm now over a G. Okay. Let's do this. So I have a 2. I'm going to make it a 2, 4, 3. Okay. All right. And so I need a 4th above the A is the D. The 3 would be a C. So bonk. Oops. Move you up. There we go. There we go. Okay. So I have a D minor chord over D minor 7 over A. DM7 over A. All right. All right. Let's go and add the 7th to this chord. So I have an E minor in second inversion. And these are all second inversion chords. So I have an E, G, B. I need the D. So I'm going to add the D here. Okay. And we're going to give them a name. So I count my intervals. Okay. So I have 1. So I have a root. I have a second. I have a third. And I have a 4th. So it's going to be 3, 4, 3. And add my chord symbols. Those would be E minor 7 over B. All right. Next chord. I have an F7. So I'm going to add my 7th here. And it's going to be, so it's still a 4 chord. It's going to be 5, 4, 4, 3. And his chord symbol is going to be a F major 7 over C. All right. I'm sorry for this not being clear. I can probably clear this up at the end. I can work on the spacing, but I'm probably not going to get around to that. Anyway, moving on. You have a G. I'm going to add the 7th. Okay. And remember, when we're talking about the inversions, they're diatonic intervals. The only time you're going to alter them, okay, is if you see like a flat 6 or a flat 3 or a flat something or a sharp whatever. Okay, then they'll do that. You see that a lot in minor keys. Where the 5 chord would be, let's say in A minor, it would say if it was root position, it would have a sharp and a 7 under it. Okay, but we're just working on major keys right now. Maybe I'll do a little sketching down at the bottom here to cover minor keys. So where was I? So I am in a 5. I'm still a 7. It's a 4, 3. And it's a G7 over D. So it's a second inversion chord. And moving on, all right? So I'm going to make this a 6-4-3. There we go. And that's going to be A minor 7 over E. And here's our lovely diminished chord here. So I'm going to cross. I have a B, D, F, and I need the A. Right? B, D, F, A. And so it would be a 7 half diminished 4-3. And his chord symbol, again, could be B half diminished 7 over F. Okay, that's simple. You could do that. It could be B minor 7 flat 5 over F. But the way Finale wants it is B diminished 7 over F. That's the only one it will accept. And then this brings us back to Do. Okay, with a 1-4-3. And oops. There we go. And a C major 7 over G. All right. So again, no matter how you voice these, I could voice it this way. I could voice it this way. Okay. I could voice it, let's see, this way. Okay, as long as the G, as long as the fifth of the chord is in the bass, okay, it's always a third inversion. Don't worry about the top notes. Okay, so somebody will say, well, it's not exactly a 4 and a 3. All right, well, okay, let's look at this one. Okay, so I'm going to say 4-3. So I need to have a B in there. Is there a B? Yep, it's up here. I need to have a 3. Need to have a 4. Is there a C? Yep. See, it's still there. Okay. Yeah. Technically, it would be a 10. What is that? An 11-10. Okay. We just don't do that. Okay. There's some kind of third. There's some kind of fourth above it. All right. So whether it's 10 octaves higher or right next to it, doesn't matter. It's still a 4-3. All right. Moving down to this one. Here, let's get rid of these. There. All right. Now, these are our good old root positions we started with. But because you have 7 chords, you have 4 notes that could be on the bottom. You can have a third inversion. Okay. So I'm just going to go and just do them all right now. There we go. That's bass clef. There we go. Move up. There. So I put all the sevenths on the bottom. So a third inversion. All right. This is going to be a 1, 4, 2. Okay. So it's telling the keyboard player there's a second above the bottom note. Okay. So I'm looking, okay, is there a second? Yep. There's a C. And I also know that there's an E up here because I go 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have C, E, B. I have the skeleton of a thing. Now again, you could write it 6, 4, 2, but again, remember the sixth, the interval is implied, and especially again, you can always throw out the fifth of the chord because you don't always need it. Okay. All right, so this is going to be a 2, 4, 2. Oops. This is going to be a 3, 4, 2. This is going to be a 4, 4, 2. This is going to be a 5, 4, 2. This is going to be a 6, 4, 2. This will be a 7, 4, 2. And we're back to 1, 4, 2. Okay. And if you look at all of them, let's just pick one here. Let's look at the sixth chord. Is there a second? Yes. Is there a fourth above the G? Yes. Okay. Just enough information to make the harmonies come out. All right. Okay. And then let's do some chord symbols. Okay. So you should be able to do this by now. So this is a C major 7 over B. This is a D minor 7 over C. This is a there we go. This is an E minor 7 over D. Okay, so the slash is telling me what the bottom note is. This is an F major 7 over E. This is a G7 over F. This is an A minor 7 over G. Now this one could be a B diminished 7 over A. It could be a B minor 7 flat 5 over A. Or, as I will do it to appease the finale gods, D diminished 7 over A. And then we come back to C major 7 over B. All right. So again, okay, no matter how you voice this, these are still third inversions. Okay, I could do this. I could do this. Okay, I could do that. Actually, let's put this in the... Actually, that's the same as the other one I just wrote. Duh. All right, I could do... I could do... I could do this. Okay? As long, if you notice, the B is always in the bottom. So these are all going to be 4/2 in Roman numerals or slash chords over B. All right. Now, let's go over here. I'm going to add some measures because we need to do minor keys. All right. I want to do add. No, cancel. Add measures. Let's add, I don't know, 12 there. All right, so I'm going to use this as my workspace. All right, so let's think of in minor. All right, same rules apply. There's just a little bit of a change in the Roman numeral analysis. So let's do... Okay, and let's see. Let's do two F's and two G's because we have melodic and harmonic minor. Okay, so actually, because you got those, you end up with different. So you could have. Sorry. Let me go back here. All right, so you could have two chords. You could have 2 3 chords. You can have 2 4 chords. You could have 2 5 chords. You can have 2 6 chords. You can have 2 7 chords, and back to 1. All right, there we go. And let's do this here. And the reason why you get 2 of these chords is because you have melodic and harmonic minors. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do, just to make this a little more readable, I'm going to move this one down to this. Actually, I'm going to move this one down to here. And I'm going to transpose this one down. Down an octave. There. It'll make it a little... Nope, wrong way. Transpose. Down. There. That's more readable. All right, we don't have to deal with so many letter lines. All right, so I'm just going to fill these in, and then I'm going to show you the difference between the types of chords you can have. And let's see, D. Okay, so I can have in A minor, I can have F natural. I can also have F sharp. Okay, in my minor, I can have G natural. I can also have G sharp. I can have F natural. I can also have F sharp. It's very odd to see the major 4 key, but depending on how you think about the major 4 chord, minor, because the minor 4 really helps give it the flavor. But because we can mess with that scale degree, technically it exists. And also, it's really cool when you're getting tired of writing it, you can go between major and minor, and you can say you're borrowing a chord and it works. Okay, so I can have a flatted 7th. I can have a raised 7th. I can have a major 7th. I can also have a minor 7th. I can have a major dominant 7 chord. I can also have a diminished 7 chord. Oh, I can also have, because it's messing with that, I can also have because I'm messing with this, I can have a minor, a major with a major 7. I can also have a diminished, it's all sorts of 7 chords you can use in this, because you mess with those degrees. And we come back to 1. And you could also have, now that I think about it, because you're messing with the 7th, you can also have, I forgot that you can have you can also have this thing, which I can't think of a place where I've ever seen this happen. You can have a minor 7th with a minor chord with a major 7th on top, because you can change those degrees. Technically it exists, but I can't think of an instance when I've actually seen it. All right. You know what? I'm not going to bother with bass clef. Forget bass clef for this one. All right. So let's just do qualities. Let's do Roman numerals first. So I can have a 1 minor 7. I can have a 2, and this is a half diminished. Yes. This is a diminished. Yes, so it's a half diminished. Oops. 7. Okay. I can also have a 2 minor 7. And this is why minor keys are cool, because since you got the harmonic and melodic borrowing, you can get some more flavors that you don't find naturally in the major diatonic keys. Okay, so 3 is still a minor 7th. All right, now you have this funky one, which is a 3 augmented. No, wait a minute. E, yeah, yep, no, E minor 7 sharp 5. So you could do a E, G. Oh, Lord, Lars, you're reading this wrong. I'm reading the wrong clef. Forget that. Oh, I was thinking in bass clef. Okay, so this is a 3, 7. This is a 3 augmented 7. Yeah. Whew. Yes, so even if you've been doing this as long as I have, yes, it is possible to read the wrong clef when you're thinking in the wrong clef. Okay, so I can have a 3 major 7 or 3 augmented 7th. I can have a 4 D7. I can also have a, now this is a 4 7, and the way they would do this is they would write 4, or they would write sharp and then a 7 under that to show that they wanted the F sharp in there. All right. It's not 4 sharp 7, so it's a 4, and the sharp means that the 3, it's implied that the 3 would be raised over that. Okay, the G. So I can have a G minor 7 or a 5 minor 7. I can have a 5 7. Okay. I don't need to, and because the leading tone is in there, it would be a sharp with a sharp 3 and a 7. Okay. A, so this would be a minor. Yes. No, I'm reading the wrong clef again. F, A, C, E. This would be a 6 major 7. Yes. And then this would be a minor 7. And then I have my regular, I can do 7, 7, okay, just a major chord. So it's a dominant thing, and a lot of the times you can substitute your 5 with one of these. Gives you kind of a more modal sound. This one I have a 7, fully diminished 7. And reason it's fully diminished, okay, I think in G sharp, okay, the 7 should be F double sharp. Like the minor 7th would be F sharp, and since it's an F natural, it's fully diminished. All right, this one here, I have a 7, a major 7 with a raised 7. So this would be 7 and so sharp. Okay, so it would tell you to raise the 7th there. We have a G sharp, B, D, F sharp. So this is the 7 half diminished 7. Okay. And so these are your flavors of your 7th chords. Okay. Now the ones that you'll see a lot, you'll see this one, you'll see this, you'll see this one, you'll see this one. This one, I can't think of an example where I've actually seen this one. But because we mess with the 6th scale degree, technically it exists. Okay, I'm going to come back to 1, 7, and then you also have this really strange, if we're going to mess with the 7th scale degree, you get this 1 with a 7 sharp. Okay? Because that one I can't think of a minor 7 chord, a minor chord with a sharp 7 using as a functional harmony. It's not one that you see. If you can find an example, drop me a line. I'm sure there's probably some obscure Bach chorale that has it. Anyway, let's do the chord symbols real quick. So the inversions and the qualities are still the same as they are over here. Okay, these are just minor. This is just a minor key, and it's because it's a minor key, and you have 3 versions of minor keys. You can you get more flavors. All right, so let's do the chord symbols here. So I have an A minor 7. I have a D, so this would be a D minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so it's a D diminished 7. Yes. B, B diminished. I keep reading the wrong clef. And then this is a B minor 7. You have an C. You have a C major 7. You can have a C, and you can do this as C plus 7. or C augmented 7. Okay. Will Finale let me do that one? Yeah, it will let me do that one. Okay, thank you, Finale. This is a F minor 7. This is an F. Oh, sorry, I keep reading the wrong clef. Ay! D minor 7. And this is a D 7. Yes. You can have an E minor 7. Okay. You have an E7. You have an F major 7. You have an F minor 7. You have a G7. You have a G minor 7, G minor 7, flat 5. Okay, but that one's not going to work. Yeah, what would that chord? It would be G sharp. Well, let me do it. 7. Okay, well, that's how I would do it. G sharp, fully diminished 7. All right. But it would see G minor. Okay, you would see G sharp diminished flat 7. No. It's a G sharp. It's a G sharp fully diminished. But what is the chord symbol for that? Well, my chord symbol is going to be this. G sharp fully diminished 7th. And I don't care what you think it is. Come on. G sharp fully diminished 7. Fine. Add it there. Cool. Added it to the library. You have a G sharp, G, you have a G major 7, and then you have the G diminished 7, and then you have your your A minor 7. And now this one, chord symbol for that. Oh, what would I do? Well, it's not a flavor you usually use, but it exists, and I can't think of a thing. This would be like A minor sharp 7, something like that. Okay. Anyway, I hope this helps you. Okay, whatever. Just add it to the library for now. All right. Yeah, this chord you don't see. Technically, it exists, but it's there. All right. So let's just review real quick. Okay. Your quality. So let's look at your major 7 chords. Go back. Set it back to major. Okay. Your quality is still the same as your regular triads. Okay. You get a bit of a different things in the chord symbols. Okay, if it's a major with a major 7th, you put C major 7th or F major 7th. If it's a minor with a minor 7th, it's a minor 7th. If it's a major triad with a minor 7th, you just put 7. Okay. And then you have your diminished 7th or your half diminished 7ths. All right. When we're talking about inversions, we have to think of, first you got to identify your key and all that. What is the lowest note? So if the root, no matter how far all the other notes are, it doesn't matter. If it's this C can be 800 octaves below, it's still a root position chord. It could be, you could write the root technically 3 octaves up, and as long as there's something above it, it's still a root position chord. Okay, same with first inversion. The third is in the bass, doesn't matter where it is as long as it's the lowest note. Second inversion, the fifth of the chord is in the bass, doesn't matter where the rest of the notes are, it's still a second inversion. And a third inversion, if the seventh of the chord is in the bass, doesn't matter what's above it, it's still a second inversion. And over here you saw me struggle with not only the qualities of the chords, but also I was reading the wrong clef part of the time, but these are all right. Okay, so you have different flavors of minor chords because you have two different types of minor. You have three. You have natural minor, you have harmonic minor, you have melodic minor scales to choose from. Now, let's see. I'll just say that, yeah, you'll see this one, you'll see this one, you'll see this one. 3 chords come and go. You don't see this one. You'll usually see the minor 4. The major 4 is a little odd. You do see the minor 7. The minor 7 5 chord. You also see this is the one you're traditionally your dominant 7th there. You will see both flavors of 6. You do see the lowered 7/7 a lot. You will see the diminished 7. You will see the half diminished 7. This weirdo, no, you don't see him very often. And this guy lives in a completely different universe. Anyway, if you thought this was helpful, enlightening, or helps you on your journey, leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, there's a link in the description. If you think I could help you with your better understanding of theory or composition, let me know. The link is in the description. Have a nice day.